In a lively and bustling neighborhood in the heart of Lagos, two remarkable women, Mama Amina and Mama Juma, shared more than just a street. They shared a bond that redefined what it meant to be neighbors. With their homes only a few steps apart, their connection grew into a friendship that radiated warmth and support, feeling more like family than mere acquaintances. Though their parenting styles stood in stark contrast, Mama Amina, firm and disciplined, championed the power of rules, while Mama Juma, with her soft-spoken and easygoing nature, rarely raised her voice. Their differences only strengthened their relationship. Together, they found comfort in each other's presence, tackling the joys and trials of motherhood as a united front. Both women were diligent and hard-working traders, dedicating long hours at the local market to provide for their families. This commitment allowed their children, Amina and Juma, to cultivate their own close-knit relationship. Growing up together, the two children were like siblings, sharing secrets, collaborating on homework, and embarking on countless playful adventures throughout the compound. The laughter of Amina and Juma echoed through the dusty yard, creating a joyful soundtrack to their carefree childhood. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the tantalizing aroma of dinner wafted through the air, Juma turned to his mother with a serious expression etched upon his face. "Mama, I need a phone. All my classmates have one, and I feel left out," he declared earnestly. Mama Juma paused, her spoon suspended mid-air, taken aback by the unexpected request. "A phone? Juma, don't you think you're too young for that?" she replied, concern etched in her voice. "But Mama, it's not just for games. I can use it to study too," Juma pleaded, his wide, hopeful eyes searching her face for understanding. Mama Juma sighed deeply, feeling torn between her desire to fulfill her son's wish and her instinct to protect him from the complexities of the digital world. After a moment of contemplation, she proposed a deal. "If you come first in your class this term, I'll buy you a phone. But only if you prove you deserve it." A spark of determination ignited in Juma's eyes at the challenge laid before him. From that moment onward, he devoted himself to his studies with an intensity he had never exhibited before. Even Amina noticed the change in her friend's demeanor. "You're really serious about this phone, aren't you?" she teased one evening as they sat together, poring over their math homework, the soft glow of the lamp illuminating their diligent faces. "I'll show Mama I can do it," Juma replied confidently, his resolve unwavering. As the term drew to a close, his hard work bore fruit. One day, he returned home clutching his report card like a trophy, his face aglow with pride. "Mama, look, first position." Mama Juma's face broke into a radiant smile as she enveloped him in a warm embrace, her heart swelling with joy. True to her word, she treated him to a sleek new iPhone, far more advanced than anything he had ever imagined. Juma was overjoyed, his excitement palpable as he cradled his new device. From that moment forward, the phone became Juma's most prized possession. He immersed himself in games, cartoons, and the vast expanse of the internet. Amina often joined him, and together they spent countless hours laughing at funny videos and sharing silly games. One sunny afternoon, as they lounged in Juma's room, absorbed in the glowing screen, he exclaimed, "Let's see what else we can find." Amina nodded eagerly, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. This phone has so much to offer. However, their innocent exploration marked the beginning of a journey that would profoundly test their friendship and innocence. One quiet afternoon, while their mothers were occupied at the market, Juma and Amina found themselves once again in Juma's room. Juma was engrossed in scrolling through his phone, while Amina watched intently over his shoulder. Suddenly, he paused, his finger hovering over an unfamiliar icon. "What's this?" he asked. Curiosity piqued as he clicked on it. The screen illuminated with a collection of videos, the thumbnails strikingly different from the cartoons and games they typically enjoyed. Intrigued, Juma tapped on one video, and it began to play, revealing adults engaging in confusing and unfamiliar behaviors. Juma and Amina exchanged bewildered glances, their expressions a mix of confusion and curiosity. "What are they doing?" Amina whispered, her voice barely above a murmur. Juma hesitated, brows furrowed in thought. "I think it's something adults do. I've heard older boys at school talk about things like this," he replied, trying to make sense of the spectacle before them. Amina felt her cheeks flush with discomfort. "Should we be watching this?" "It feels wrong," she admitted, her voice tinged with uncertainty. Juma shrugged, his gaze still fixed on the screen. "It's just a video. It's not like we're doing anything bad." Yet deep down, an unspoken unease lingered between them. As the video concluded, instead of closing the app, Juma clicked on another one. Minutes ticked by, as their initial discomfort morphed into a strange fascination. They didn't fully grasp what they were witnessing, but the allure of the unknown drew them in. "Let's not tell anyone about this," Juma finally declared, his voice resolute. "It's our secret." Amina nodded in agreement, though a nagging part of her wanted to confide in her mother. She knew Mama Amina wouldn't take it lightly. Her strict mother was known for her swift discipline, and Amina could hardly bear to imagine the consequences if she found out. From that day forward, the nature of Juma and Amina's afternoons shifted dramatically. Whenever their mothers were occupied, they would sneak into Juma's room, locking the door behind them to indulge in their newfound secret world of videos. The carefree laughter that once filled the compound was replaced by hushed conversations and furtive glances. Days turned into weeks, and the weight of their secret began to cast a shadow over their friendship. They no longer played outside or collaborated on homework as they once did. Instead, their bond became increasingly intertwined with the hidden realm they had stumbled upon. One day, as they sat together in Juma's room, Amina turned to him, her voice trembling with uncertainty. "Do you think it's bad that we're watching these videos?" Juma shifted uncomfortably. "It's just videos, Amina. It's not like we're doing anything wrong." "But what if Mama finds out?" Amina pressed, anxiety creeping into her voice. Juma's expression hardened, a flicker of defiance in his gaze. "She won't. We just have to keep it a secret." Amina nodded, though her unease continued to grow. Then, one fateful afternoon, Amina surprised Juma with a bold suggestion. "What if we try doing what they're doing in the videos?" Juma froze, incredulity washing over him. "What? Number, that's not a good idea, Amina." "But why not?" Amina insisted, her curiosity igniting a fire within her. "If it's something adults do, maybe we can understand it better." Juma shook his head vehemently, his heart racing. "I don't think it's right. What if we get caught?" But Amina's determination wouldn't waver. Her curiosity eclipsed her fear, and she persistently brought up the idea until Juma, feeling cornered, reluctantly agreed. The first time they attempted to replicate what they had seen, it quickly unraveled. Amina felt a sharp pain and immediately told Juma to stop, bolting out of the room with tears streaming down her cheeks. For days, she avoided him, refusing to engage in conversation or even make eye contact. Juma was filled with remorse. He wanted to apologize, but struggled to find the right words. Finally, after several days of silence, he mustered the courage to approach Amina at school. "I'm sorry," he said softly, his voice laced with regret. "I shouldn't have agreed." Amina hesitated, but eventually nodded. "It's okay. Let's just forget about it." Though their friendship gradually returned to a semblance of normalcy, an unspoken tension lingered in the air, reminding them of the fragile state of their bond. Then one day, Amina surprised Juma once more with an unexpected proposition. "I think we should try it again," she declared bluntly. Juma stared at her in disbelief. "What?" "Amina number. The last time—" "I want to," Amina interrupted, determination gleaming in her eyes. "This time will be different. Please, Juma. Don't disappoint me." Juma's heart sank at her insistence. He didn't want to acquiesce, but he couldn't bear the thought of letting Amina down. Reluctantly, he agreed once more. One afternoon after school, they decided to remain behind in an empty classroom. The school enveloped in a hushed silence, as most students and teachers had already departed for the day. Amina looked at Juma, her eyes filled with resolve. "Are you sure about this?" Juma whispered nervously, glancing around as if the walls themselves could hear them. Amina nodded confidently. "We'll be quick. No one will know." They slipped into the school toilet, hearts racing with a mixture of fear and anticipation. Just as they were about to try what they had seen in the videos, the sound of approaching footsteps echoed down the corridor. "Someone's coming," Juma hissed, gripping Amina's arm tightly. Panic surged through them as the footsteps grew louder. They bolted from the toilet, scattering in different directions. Fortunately, the school security guard failed to notice them, but the close call left them shaken and breathless. Later that evening, both Mama Amina and Mama Juma were still busy with their work at the market. Alone in the compound, Amina turned to Juma, her expression firm. "We have to try again, this time at home." Juma hesitated, fear evident in his eyes. "I don't know, Amina. What if someone catches us?" "No one's here," Amina insisted, her conviction unwavering. "Our mothers won't be back for hours." After a moment of contemplation, Juma reluctantly acquiesced. They retreated to Juma's room and locked the door behind them. Just as they were about to embark on their venture, the sound of the front door creaking open startled them. "Juma, are you home?" Mama Juma's voice rang out, sending chills down their spines. Juma and Amina froze, their faces drained of color. Mama Juma's footsteps approached the room, and she knocked on the door. "Juma, why is this door locked?" Panic surged as they scrambled to cover up their actions, but Mama Juma's discerning gaze quickly picked up on something amiss. "What's going on here?" she asked, her voice firm and authoritative. Amina cast her eyes downward, unable to meet her mother's penetrating gaze. Juma stammered, desperately trying to concoct an excuse, but Mama Juma wasn't convinced. "Both of you sit down," Mama Juma commanded, her tone leaving no room for argument. "Now tell me the truth. What have you been doing?" The children exchanged anxious glances, knowing they could no longer keep their secret hidden. With trembling voices, they confessed everything, the videos, their curiosity, and their misguided attempts to mimic what they had seen. Mama Juma listened in stunned silence, her heart sinking with each revelation. A wave of guilt crashed over her. How had she overlooked this? Had her focus on her business blinded her to her son's needs? Taking a deep breath to steady herself, she said, "Stay here. I need to talk to Mama Amina." Mama Juma crossed the compound to Amina's house and relayed everything to Mama Amina. The latter's face paled with shock, and she abruptly stood up, pacing the room in a flurry of emotions. "This is all Amina's fault," she snapped, her voice laced with anger. "She's the one leading Juma astray." Mama Juma shook her head firmly, her expression resolute. "No, it's not just Amina. Both of them are involved, and we need to handle this together as mothers." For the first time, Mama Amina sat down, her usual strict demeanor replaced by a palpable sense of worry. "What do we do?" she asked quietly, her voice tinged with concern. "We need to talk to them, and more importantly, we need to get them help," Mama Juma replied. Therapy, counseling, whatever it takes to guide them back to the right path. The two mothers returned to Juma's house, where they engaged in a long and earnest conversation with the children. They explained the dangers of the content they had been watching and why their actions could lead to harmful consequences. Although their words were delivered with care, the children could feel the weight of their mother's disappointment hanging in the air like a heavy fog. After that pivotal day, life in the compound underwent a profound transformation. Mama Amina became more attentive to Amina, softening her strict approach to foster a more open and trusting relationship. Meanwhile, Mama Juma made a concerted effort to spend more quality time with Juma. Realizing that her lenient attitude had left him without the necessary guidance, eventually both families agreed to seek professional help for the children. Therapy sessions provided Juma and Amina with a crucial understanding of the implications of their actions and the importance of making informed choices. Despite their efforts to mend the situation, the bond between the two families was irrevocably altered. In a bid for a fresh start and to escape the memories of what had transpired, Mama Amina made the difficult decision to relocate to another state. As the moving truck pulled away from the compound, Juma watched with a heavy heart, emotions swirling within him. Sadness and relief battled for dominance in his chest. He had learned a hard lesson, one that would resonate throughout his life, shaping his perspective on friendship, curiosity, and the importance of making sound choices. Moral of the story: it is crucial for parents to actively engage with their children, fostering open discussions about safe and responsible phone use, while educating them on the potential dangers of certain online content. Phones can serve as valuable tools for learning and communication, but they should only be entrusted to children when they are mature enough to handle the responsibility that comes with them. Your opinion? At what age do you believe parents should consider giving their children a phone? Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the story, please consider liking, commenting your thoughts, and subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much, and see you in my next story.